Hey there, it's Sean from Flip to Freedom. Well, it's a beautiful day out here in Phoenix. I thought I'd shoot you a quick video and kind of let you know exactly what I do when it comes to marketing for motivated sellers and getting big deals, I guess you could say. And what happens is this, is that, I don't teach REOs and how to flip REOs. I have a module inside the Flip to Freedom Academy on exactly how to do that, but it's later on in the modules just because you need to have a specific, confidence to be able to accomplish something like that and a know-how, which you'll have by the time you hit the end of the modules there. But I don't teach about short sales or anything like that. What I do is I talk about marketing for motivated sellers. And motivated sellers can be found anywhere. And what's great about it is, it could be inheritance, and someone inherited a property. Those are deep discount. It could be probate. It could be absentee investors with deed dates 1999 and below. It could be just free and clear properties. It could be divorce situations. It could be pre-foreclosures with deed dates 1999 and below. Those are all situations where sellers are in that would have motivation and equity to be able to tie up that deal. Now, all the transactions I do, I don't have, I'm not closing on the transaction. I'm literally just signing a purchase contract. And then in that time frame, I have about 30 to 45 days to turn around and sell that contract for a higher price. If I get a contract for $50,000, I'm going to turn around and try to sell it for $60,000 and be able to make a $10,000 spread on it. I got no money out of pocket. I literally just signed a contract with a seller, and then turn around and signed a contract with a buyer, take it to the title company and ask them to close it via a double escrow or just simply an assignment. So that's the whole premise of the whole idea. But this is the deal, is that when I'm talking to people all across the country, and they have all these different scenarios that come in, and the scenarios are, hey, I've got this house, I think it's worth 140, the seller owes 110, the seller wants $5,000. What do I do? I get those questions all the time, and the thing is that I want to try to use this video to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in my head when it comes to analyzing each deal. And the first thing I think of is the exit plan. How am I going to exit the property? Because remember, we're going to sign a contract, and we got to make it sellable quickly on the other side. Meaning, it has to have either a ton of equity, it has to have a great finance structure, something. It has to be a very sellable asset, and make it sellable so we can exit that property quickly. Now, the better the deal, the faster you'll sell it. So what we got to do is make it the best deal possible. So I always think first of the exit plan. What's the exit on the property? Now, there's basically, three different types of exits. Okay. Number one is a wholesale exit, meaning the property has enough equity in the deal that you can exit the property to a fix and flip or a buy and hold investor. And they're going to come in, they're going to pay cash, and they're looking at the deepest amount of equity that they can buy. They're going to go in, they're going to fix it up, they're going to turn around, they're going to put it back on the market, and they're going to sell it. So their main motivation they're looking for is the amount of equity the property has, from the after repair value and that price that you offer it to them. Now, I've talked about my formula. Typically, I do 70% of value, less repairs. So if you have a $100,000 property, less 70% is $70,000, minus say $10,000 repairs is $60,000 is what I'd sell it for, meaning I got to now get it for $50,000 to make $10,000 on that deal. Okay, and those deals are out there all over the place. Trust me. Now, that's exit number one. A property that has deep discount where you can offer to a fix and flip investor, and they're going to make their buying decision off the amount of equity that they have. Okay, number one. The second exit on the property would be where you could obtain seller financing on the property, or you can leave the existing loan in place, and there's potential cash flow in the deal. Let's say you have a $100,000 property, they owe $80,000. Let's say they have a good loan on the property, and let's say that the mortgage payments on it are $600 a month, and the rental area, your rents in the area are $1,100 a month. Well, guess what? There's $500 a month potential cash flow that an investor could pick up. Now, they're looking for a low down payment. So if I can negotiate with the seller to give them, say, $5,000, and I can turn around and sell it for $15,000 down with a loan in place for 5 years, then that would be a good exit. So why would that be a good exit? Well, first off, they don't have to obtain a bank loan in this market. They can put minimal down, $15,000 down. On a typically $100,000 property in this market, to buy an investment property, you have to put 25% down, so $25,000 down. So literally, they can come in with $15,000 down. They get a good loan. They don't have to go get a loan. They don't have to deal with that whole process. A lot of investors can't do it because they have too many properties on their credit. And then it cash flows $500 a month. So that would be an exit plan. See, it doesn't fit in the first one, right? It doesn't have enough equity. So guess what? That doesn't work. So what will work? Well, what will work is structuring it with seller financing. Now, how do you do that? You could do that with a subject to, where you buy the property subject to, meaning the title transfers to the buyer. Or you could do what I like is what's called the agreement for sale, where title doesn't transfer, the loan stays in place, and it's serviced by a title company. Okay, and the new buyer makes payments directly to the title company. The title company makes payments to the bank, and I try to negotiate around 5 years or so. But when the underlying note is paid off, or that $80,000 note we're using for an example, when that's paid off, then the title will transfer. Now the benefit is that if there's a default situation, then the seller can get the property back fairly quickly after 45 to 60 days, depending how much equity is in the property. So I like doing what's called the agreement for sale. That's a structure. If you go back and listen to episode number 45 that I recorded, the podcast, you can go to iTunes, search Flip to Freedom. But episode number 45, I recorded probably about an hour and 20 minutes on exactly how to structure seller finance deals. So exit number 1 is deep discount. Exit number 2 is where a minimal down payment, a lengthy term, at least 5 years, and cash flow. That's exit number 2. Now, what's exit number 3? Right? What if you're dealing with someone and they $100,000 property, but they owe $95,000? What do you do? Right? They still have a good loan in place, right? There's not going to be much cash flow, maybe not. What do you do then? Okay, and if you don't know, then I'll tell you. You got to keep listening. So, what you want to do in that situation is called a retail flip. You're going to negotiate with a seller to keep the existing loan in place on an agreement for sale. Okay, and then what's going to happen is, let's say the payments on there are $800. You want to make sure the payments on there are under the rental amount. So if the rents are going for $900 to $1,000 a month, and you can tie it up for $800 a month for rental, for the payments on there, that will be good. It'll be easily you can sell that because it's you actually can buy the house for less than you can rent the house down the street. Why wouldn't you buy it? And then the other goal is to have a lengthy term, at least 5 years, and also have a minimal down. So you want to negotiate with a seller in that particular situation to keep the loan in place for 5 years with a minimal down. So you want to give them anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 per se. And doing that, you would easily be able to turn around and sell that for $10,000 to $15,000 down. Make $8,000 to $10,000 on the deal by flipping it, structuring it, and flipping it. Now you're selling it retail, and that's a property that has $95,000 a loan on it on a $100,000 property. And that still you can pull that off. Okay, and that's exit number 2. So. The game with this is with marketing is the more sellers you talk to, the more money you'll make. The more leads you got coming in, the more money you'll make. Now, what happens is that for every 25 leads that you get, you'll get one motivated seller, one with a deep, deep discount. But what happens to the other 24 leads? Well, guess what? If you can put them in these different, exit plans, you got exit plan number 2 here, you got exit plan number 3. Guess what? You can turn, out of 25 leads, you can turn, anywhere from 5 to, 8 deals out of 25 leads if you're good and you kind of know what to structure. And like I said, I got people calling me all across the country saying, "Oh, what about this? And what about this deal? And how about this?" But I wanted to give you a perspective because that's what you're looking for. That's what I think of first. I think of where can I exit the property? Can I exit it on a deep discount? That doesn't work. So now I got to exit it here with cash flow. Does it work with the cash flow? With minimal down, does that work? Well, that doesn't work. Well, maybe I can exit it on a retail basis, and try to do it that way. But that's what I'm thinking when trying to determine how to structure the deal. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want to talk about. And I got a deal we're working on right now. House is worth about, say, 150 or so. The lady owns 107. She wanted, I think it was like $7,000 down, so we're marketing it for $17,000 down. So there's a $10,000 spread there. It's still below market. The thing cash flows like crazy. Her loan's $682 a month. It's a great deal. You know, it's a great deal, and we'll probably sell and close that one. Sell it this week, close it next week. But those deals are out there. They're plentiful. Now, it's not the deep discount deal. It's not a flip property. Someone can go and fix and flip. There's not enough equity there, but it fits right in that cash flow situation, and that's how we negotiate it. So hopefully this will be able for you to go out and when you have motivated sellers call in to be able to structure more deals and make more money, because the trick of this game is to be able to very quickly think on your feet and be able to figure out exactly where you can exit it and structure it, structure it in the best way that it becomes the most sellable to your end buyer. Okay, that's what you're thinking. You're thinking of your end buyer. So what you want to do is figure out how you can structure it to make it the most sellable. And when it comes to these seller finance deals and the agreement for sales, it's the least amount of down, the longest amount of term, right? And they have a good loan in place that you can wrap. Okay, so that's it for this little tidbit, and I will see you in the future videos. Take care, and God bless.